Hey, this is Russ. Time for another e-bike video. Yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays we have e-bike videos. Mondays, we've been using it as my health update videos and other things, whatever might come along. I may throw that stuff in there too. But watch Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for your e-bike information. Now, let me make a quick announcement too. Going forward, we may maintain the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday videos. Now, in the past, I was doing a daily video. It got to be a little too much. If I go out and I'm able to ride on a daily basis, of course I will take you along with me. But there are some days that maybe I may have other things I have to do, in which case we may not be able to rely on a video every single day. So I think we're gonna maintain Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays going forward. Yeah, even into the riding season. You can guarantee you'll get a video then. Yeah, of course, unless something comes up and unforeseen. But typically Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And if I'm able to, I will throw in some videos in between those dates. All right. And of course, Monday is for health updates. So anyway, today though, I didn't have too many things to talk about for e-bikes. So I kept thinking about, what am I gonna say? What can I do? What can I enlighten you with? And I couldn't come up with anything. How do you like that? Couldn't come up with anything that would be e-bike related. So what I decided to do is I would talk a little bit about some of the comments people have said recently, and kind of throw it your way too. I know a lot of you guys watch the comments in my videos and comment to the comments, so that's good. But others don't. So let's bring up some topics. Now, one thing, recently I just did a video. I did two videos where I was actually outside riding again. Yeah, see, it's kind of nice. Yeah, we had a heat wave. I think the whole Midwest area had a heat wave. So got out there twice, but I mentioned that the air pressure in my tires were a little low, and so I had to pump it up to 20 pounds. Typically, I put 20 pounds of pressure in my fat tires. Now, if you have thinner tires, it could be a higher pressure. Some of them I put 50 pounds of pressure in there. But fat tires, I usually put 20. Some people drop it even lower because they want a little bit more grip going on. If you're going over certain types of terrain, or if it's like snowy or something like that, you might want to lower it down. I don't know. I usually put 20, and I don't ride in the snow, so I can't tell you. All right. But other things that people have said, I think it's worth reiterating here. Now, they said tighten up all the screws. That's a good point. If you haven't touched your bike in a while, check the screws and things like that. Make sure everything's nice and tight, and check your front hub quick release. Yeah. I know for the Rad Rover 5, which was the very first bike I had, I think when I took it out the second year, after I rode it for the whole year, I took it out the second year. I think it was the second year. Maybe it was even the first. No, it was actually during the first year I had it. I found that the front hub quick release was getting loose. Yeah, I think several other people have mentioned that too for some of the Rad bikes back in that time period. That would be, I don't remember what year that would have been, but about 3 years ago, something like that. I'm actually coming up on my 4th year of riding e-bikes, believe it or not. 3 full years we finished. We're coming up on the 4th. Kind of shocking. But anyways, the front tire was a little bit loose. I had to actually have to re-crank it a little bit and then clip it on. You know how to do a quick release, right? Cranked it down a little bit more tighter and then clip it on. Check that on your bikes. Because with the bouncing and everything and the like, it could loosen up. So yeah, you don't want your front tire falling off while you're riding. So that's a good point. And someone brought that up too recently, so I figured I better let you guys know that too. And I mentioned before too, you should lubricate your chains and the like, get some chain lube and things like that. So double check your bikes before you take it out the very first time for the year. And then throughout the year, you should always check it too. It's not like you should avoid doing that. But yeah, no, you should check your bikes every time, before you go out. Check your brake pads too. If you need new brake pads, you may have to replace brake pads if you hit the brakes a lot. Now, here's an interesting thing. It just kind of popped in my brain. The very first year, as you know, I wasn't really stopping a whole lot. In fact, I tried to avoid stopping, certain areas where you kind of slow down. But, as you're slowing down, you're wearing out your brake pad. So I would tend to avoid it unless I absolutely had to stop. But if you stop a lot, or you know, you ride your brakes, check your brake pads too. You might need to replace those. So, but yeah, it's not that difficult to replace. By the way, these things are not that hard to do. But if you have any problems and figure out how to do stuff, here's a channel you can try to consider looking at. It's Park Tools, PARK Tools. Okay, Park Tools manufactures bike tools, essentially. Yeah, and they have a channel that they kind of go over how to fix this and fix that on your bike. So people have asked me before, hey Russ, how do you fix this, or how do you change a brake this or that or whatever? Check Park Tools. Okay, and I usually will tell them, go to Park Tools and look at it, because they could tell you better than I can. These are bike mechanic guys, you know, who can actually describe exactly what needs to be done. They've done it themselves, so they're giving you good information. So highly recommended, Park Tools. Okay, there you go. What else? Other things that people have mentioned were, somebody said something like if you change the chain ring on your bike, you might have to extend the chain by adding a link or two. That's true. On some bikes, you might have to. I didn't need to do it on the Magicycle. His concern was, shifting gears might have a problem. But for the Magicycle Cruiser that I did the chainring update, I think it was like 48T to 52T. I didn't need to change the chain. Yeah, it worked perfectly fine, so I left it, and I've been using it for years now that way. So, but others, I'm sure you might have to do that. Now, somebody else mentioned too that if you increase the size of the chain ring to more teeth on there, it could kind of make it tougher for you to climb hills. That's true. It's actually designed for fixing the ghost pedaling, but it does affect the lower gears. Like if you're on gear 1, maybe you go a certain speed and gear 1 with the older chainring, and you upgraded the chainring to 52T from a 48. That lowest gear 1, it will probably feel like gear 2, all right? Which means you don't really have the climbing ability of gear 1 anymore. That's true. So you have to kind of play the game as, what's more important to you? Do you climb hills a lot? In which case, changing the chainring could mess you up. If you don't, and you're more on flat land and you're just wanting to avoid the ghost pedaling, then changing that chainring would help. Okay. Now another alternative is, like I mentioned before, rather than changing the chainring, you could change the gears in the back on the rear hub, right? The gears there. Many people will take something like I don't know what all the different gearing is in the back, but I think a lot of them have maybe as their bottom gears like 14T. Some of them will get gear things that, those clusters down there, they'll do like 11. Okay. That would essentially give you the same thing as keeping the 48T, and the 11 would give you essentially about the same thing as what you would have done with the 52T and leaving the 14T in the back, all right? Because essentially it kind of evens itself out. I don't know if it's exactly the amount, but you know what I mean. It's fixing one and not fixing the other. It kind of evens itself back out. So really, if you change the back and didn't change the front, that would work too. But I don't know. I always felt that it might be tougher to make that change on the wheel than it is to change the chain ring, right? But if you do that, it leaves alone the climbing of the hill, because your highest gear, or technically your lowest gear 1, would still remain as the same as gear 1, provided you're buying that cassette that's really the same. The most teeth on the back is the same as the one that you would have replaced it with. Is still the same. It would give you the same climbing power in the sense of pedaling. Okay, I hope you understood that. It was a little confusing to me too. But that's an option. Okay, that's another way of doing it. But for me, fixing that cruiser, the fastest thing was just changing the chainring. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's really about all I really wanted to say, is that, there was a couple of things that I wanted to at least point out to you. So anyway, so that's all I had for you for today. It's not much, but Something better than nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically sitting here waiting to get out. I mean, I have more fun riding the bike and talking with you at that point. But again, sometimes these videos here, sitting here and talking inside, it's kind of hard to come up with things, you know, that we can really utilize while we're all sitting around doing nothing. I mean, I know some of you guys are still riding because you're in part of the country that is not as affected as we are during the winter. But you know, if you're stuck in the inside like me, and you're chomping at the bit to get out, there's not a whole lot you can say while you're sitting here. So if things come up, I will talk about it. But here's a good idea. Give me the questions again. We did this before. We were answering your questions. You put them in the comments of this video. Yeah, let me know what questions you have. I'll see if I can answer them, you know, on video. Others have said, you know, you should do a live stream. Yeah, I don't know about that. You know, people's ability to be available when you're available to do the live stream sometimes always don't work out. You know, some people are working, you know, retired guys, probably not a big deal, but you know, if they're working, they can't join in, and you know, you can do it in the evenings, but again, it doesn't work out. And a lot of those things, I've seen these live stream videos, and they never seem quite right to me, and they're kind of long, and the qualities don't look too good and all that. So I think the easiest thing is just put a comment. Yeah, put a comment in today's video, and I'll try my best to answer as many questions as I can on the next couple of videos. All right? All right, that's all I got for you guys for today. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. We're very close to 18,000. Yeah, we're just right around the corner from it. I'll talk to you guys next time.